Hello, my wonderful Capricorns. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing amazing. In today's video, I will be tapping into the energies of your love life. So it's going to be your general love reading for the week here. So pretty much whatever comes out for you guys. Okay. Okay, guys, so we have two cards here. We have the Child card and we also have Imprisonment. Well, with the Imprisonment card, this card is kind of giving me the energy of the Eight of Swords in Tarot. But I'm getting a very specific message where someone could be struggling in a relationship due to a wound or something that is deeply embedded in them. So, for example, it could be that there's some sort of, wounds that were created since childhood, and so they're projecting that onto a connection here, or there's something that they're holding on to. It's almost like it could even be someone's like perception of themselves, but I see them projecting a wound, okay, onto this connection. Okay, so whether this message is for you or cross watcher here, there is a belief, or yes, a belief that is causing someone to feel like an energetic block when it comes to this connection. Okay. For others of you, it's someone who feels very restricted in one way or another, right? It could be that they're trying to heal something with you. It could be that they do have a desire or a vision to have something more than what you guys currently share, but they could be in their own way here. There's something that's causing them to feel restricted mentally. Okay. The Imprisonment card could quite literally talk about incarceration as well, but that's not going to be the case for all of you. But I see someone who feels like they're trapped in their mind. There's something here that they believe, and even if they're trying to change that belief, it feels like it's something that's difficult to do. So they feel like a prisoner to their thoughts this week is what I'm sensing. So let's see what's going on. And there's a strong message about like someone's inner child or something pertaining to their childhood as well. So we have the Four of Swords on the bottom of the deck, and we have the Seven of Wands. It seems to me that someone is feeling very restless here, okay? So they could be trying to heal, or they could be trying to address an issue. It seems to me that this is more of an internal thing, so like it could be an internal battle. But with the Seven of Wands, there's also a very defensive energy here. I wonder if this is someone who is realizing something on their own, but there's some sort of a defensive energy when it comes to either speaking about it or being open about it here. Struggling to open up, or struggling to admit to what's really going on or how they actually feel. And as much as I sense someone trying to heal something, they're also feeling very, very restless. Okay, so I'm going to start off by seeing how you are being viewed this week. Okay, so the Hierophant. Some of you could be dealing with the Taurus. This is someone who's viewing you as, I've learned a lot from Capricorn, right? This is a card of, lessons. It could be when, this is someone who feels like they've learned a lot from you about themselves, that sort of thing. But I do feel that they have a commitment or a higher level of commitment on their mind. But when you have this card, right, they feel like there's some sort of, it's almost like there's levels or there's phases in this connection, or there has been, okay? And so this is someone who does want more with you, okay? But there's a very strong energy of still being in the process of accepting something, or still being in the process of learning something, right? When it comes to you, or when it comes to maybe how to treat you, or what you're wanting from this connection here. But they do have a higher level of commitment on their mind. The other thing that I will say, guys, is like, This person could view you as someone that they feel very connected to, but there may be differences between the both of you that are being highlighted this week. So this could touch on like cultural factors, religious factors. It could just be, something pertaining to your lifestyle versus theirs. But I do see the differences being highlighted. So we have the Knight of Cups, okay, followed by the Temperance in the challenge position. Some of you could be dealing with this Sagittarius. What I'm sensing here, Capricorn, is this is someone who wants to feel at ease when it comes to the situation, right? They want things to flow. They don't want it to feel like they're forcing something to happen. And I also see someone who wants to be very open with you, specifically when it comes to the emotional department. But for these two cards to come up in the challenge position, I think that they're struggling with that. And it goes back to what I was saying where as I open the spread, where this is someone who's struggling to either let go of negative thoughts, or there's like a certain way that they have always, thought about themselves or this connection, and they're having a hard time thinking outside the box or detaching from thoughts that no longer serve them. And the Knight of Cups is an emotional confession, right? And the Temperance is someone who feels like they want to restore some sort of balance in this connection. But I also feel like those are the very things that they're struggling with this week, because there's something that they're feeding into. There's something that they're telling themselves. Even if it's, negative thoughts, it doesn't mean that those thoughts are true. But because they're thinking about it constantly, it could be that they're having a hard time differentiating the reality of the situation versus what's going on in their mind. How are you viewing them? The Queen of Pentacles. Seems to me that you feel like you have been very invested in this connection here. Okay, so you've invested a lot of time, energy, possibly for some of you, even finances. But there's a very cautious energy that you're in, because you are viewing this person as someone that you feel connected to. You do see the potential. But I also feel like you're being very, very cautious this week, because the Queen of Pentacles also touches on being very careful with where you put your energy. And so as much as you're acknowledging how you feel towards this person, I think that maybe a part of you feels like, I don't want to put my heart on the line, or I want to see more action or proof from this person's end. You're also being very realistic. So I'm not saying that you're not acknowledging the emotions, but I think that you're taking more of a realistic or like a logical approach towards the situation this week. Some of you could be a little withdrawn, or there's something that you're doing for yourself. Even if it's a decision that you're making, you're putting your emotions first. Okay, King of Swords and the Three of Cups in your feelings. Getting to the bottom of an issue, yeah. So this is what I was sensing, like a very realistic approach, being very honest with yourself. And the King of Swords and the Three of Cups could just be you creating some sort of distance in this connection, or stepping away from this connection because you are aware of some form of interference. This doesn't necessarily have to be another lover involved, right? Or someone stepping out on the connection. But maybe for some of you, you're aware of what this person is having a hard time healing from, or they're holding on to something that is creating a block between the both of you. There may also be something that you were using as a distraction, or maybe picking up on not the best coping mechanism, and you're putting an end to that. I think that this is someone or a situation where you're like, okay, I'm going to give this person the benefit of the doubt. But in the now, there's something that's telling you to accept things for what it is and not what you want them to be. Okay, Magician and the King of Wands. Wow. A lot of passion, a lot of attraction here. And what I see, Capricorn, is you have a lot more control in this situation than you think you do. Because when the Magician comes out, especially on your side, it means you have the tools, or you know enough to create a change in this dynamic here. Even if you're feeling defeated or powerless, especially coming out with the King of Wands, what you fixate on, what you put your energy into will grow. This could be a time where, a specific manifestation pertaining to this connection is coming in for you, right? But it's also a very strong energy of being careful with the thoughts that you are thinking in the current moment, right? Because what you're feeding into is going to continue to grow here. I also feel with the King of Wands and the Magician, some of you could be, with a little bit withdrawn, but you're shifting the focus to some sort of creative endeavor, or something that you're really, really passionate about. But what I see is you're in this energy of attracting and not necessarily chasing. So you know what you want, but you're not in this energy of, I'm going to prove myself to this person, or I'm going to be the one to, initiate the conversation. There's something here you're attracting by just detaching, is what I'm getting strongly. And for many of you, it's because you are aware of an interference here. And so you have cut ties with this person, or you have created some sort of distance because of that interference. Okay, Two of Swords clarifying the Knight of Cups, and the Two of Pentacles clarifying the Temperance. You have someone who's in between worlds, but also feeling very, very confused. And the Two of Swords is a very, this or that way of thinking, where this person could feel like something has always progressed in a similar manner between the both of you, and they're having a hard time seeing how things could be different. So they're having a hard time figuring out a new approach here. The Two of Swords clarifying the Knight of Cups can also be someone who wants to express how they feel towards you, but they're in a state of denial. There's something that they're not fully accepting. And as I opened the spread, I did sense a very defensive energy. And someone could also, there could be blocks in communication, or it's someone who has a hard time expressing how they feel towards you. And this could be something that was consistent throughout the course of this bond as well. Whether it's you feel like you have to kind of like break down a wall to get this person to open up, or it could be someone who views showing emotions as like a sign of weakness. But what I'm sensing is what they're feeling challenged by this week is seeing how things could be different, or seeing how they can approach the situation differently. And it stems from a place of not fully accepting the situation for what it is, because the Two of Swords, that's why she's blindfolded in that card. She's either picking and choosing what she wants to focus on, or she's denying something. The Two of Pentacles is a back and forth energy. This person could, it could be a case of juggling, or they're trying to maintain so many different things at once, where it may result in them feeling like there's a lack of balance. I can no longer maintain two things at once or three things at once, and I need to make a decision. But they're still in the process of making that decision with the Two of Pentacles upright. Five of Swords. So when this person is thinking of you this week, right, guys, I feel like there is a lot of mental conflict. There is something that they're thinking about that they want to bring up, but I also strongly sense someone who's trying to avoid an argument. So this is a general read. You're going to know your situation better than I will, but you may be aware of something that this person is thinking about, but you may also feel like bringing that up would open a can of worms, or it would escalate into something more, because that's what I'm sensing in their feelings. And we have the Emperor. Yeah. I feel like they want some sort of control here, Capricorn, or they're wanting something to work out in a specific manner. So whether it's they have a plan in mind, whether it's, this is how I want things to progress between Capricorn and I, or I want to find a solution to an ongoing conflict, but these are the things that I'm willing to speak about, and these are the things that I want to refrain from touching on. But because there's a lot of control here, I think that it's also creating resistance, or like an energetic block. So it's someone who's really missing you with the Five of Pentacles and the Moon card. They're keeping this hidden. I'm strongly getting, guys, like this person is very up in their mind about you, but when it comes to like opening up or expressing, they're really struggling with that. They feel like an outsider in your life, and there's a lot of emotions here. Don't get me wrong, but they're also suppressed emotions. Some of you could be dealing with the Pisces. And the Emperor with the Five of Pentacles, as well as the Moon card. Hold on, guys. I'm going to take a water break. Okay, guys. So the Emperor with the Five of Pentacles, as well as the Moon card, not only do I sense suppressed emotions, I'm strongly getting that this is someone who wants to, yes, have some sort of control, but they want to appear as if something is not impacting them as much as it is. They're feeling indecisive. They're wanting to restore balance in this connection. They're feeling like a prisoner to their thoughts, but they're not showing that on the outside. This person really wants you to perceive them in a certain manner. So on the external, they may appear to be very nonchalant, or it may seem like something is not impacting them, but internally there's a lot more going on. Okay, Five of Wands and the Four of Wands, trying to keep some sort of conflict right? Or drama away from you in hopes that you guys are going to come together here. They may be dealing with a lot in their environment, but they may feel like they don't want to drag you into it. So here's what I see in the potential outcome. I see someone who's trying to come together with you, but there's still some sort of ongoing drama or conflict that you are aware of. Because with the King of Swords and the Three of Cups, I feel like this is the very reason why you have distanced yourself from this individual. So it's still ongoing and they're going to reconnect with you. But the Five of Wands upright, it's usually something in their, external environment that is somehow impacting the connection here. What's the Five of Wands? The Hanged Man, and the Four of Wands, the Eight of Cups. Some of you may be choosing to, walk away, or if you are, in the current moment, since you're distancing yourself, you may feel like there's something very important that is missing from this connection here. Eight of Cups, clarifying the Four of Wands, could also be a message of, in order to come together, it may require this person to walk away from another commitment. Doesn't necessarily have to be like a marriage or a relationship, but the Eight of Cups is, detaching from what's no longer working. And what's interesting is we have the Hanged Man clarifying the Five of Wands. So until someone walks away from a toxic environment or a drama-filled environment, there's going to be a lack of progress in the connection here. There's going to be a block that remains. I think this person is going to continue keeping tabs on you, but there is a bit of a stagnant energy. Because what I see is someone who's trying to control the narrative, where they're coming in and they're wanting to reconnect with you, but there's something here or an external influence that is still ongoing or impacting this connection. And it's really an energy of you can't have it all, or you can't have your cake and eat it too. So what I see here is the, needing to walk away from one situation, or needing to let go of some sort of chaos in order for a commitment to get off the ground in an efficient way. And I also feel like there's a message about releasing control, or understanding that something is not going to happen exactly exactly how you want it to. And yes, I do see this person, wanting to reconnect here, but I still feel like it's someone who struggles to open up to you emotionally, especially with the Moon card, Five of Swords, and the Emperor. Because it's an energy of not wanting you to truly know how they feel, or not wanting to be perceived as weak. Not saying that if you express your emotions, that's a sign of weakness, but this is what's going on in their feelings. Okay. So let's see if we can get a closing message for you guys. And throughout your reading here, I was constantly getting my throat chakra felt very blocked. So I do feel like it could be someone that you're not speaking to at all. Or like I said, it could be someone who just really struggles to open up emotionally. Okay. So we have rewire the way you love. When pain becomes the pattern in love, it's time to relearn connection. Begin again differently. Okay, that's a little bit of a tongue twister. Okay. So I see someone, this is basically a message of realizing the patterns in a connection, right? And seeing how you can approach things differently. What's interesting, as I did mention with the Two of Swords in the challenge position, that's what this person wants, but that's also something that they're struggling to do. So there's definitely, a pattern in this connection, but the Two of Swords could be when you're really struggling to see how you can operate differently. And this specifically says when pain becomes the pattern in love, it's time to relearn connection. So constant hurt or constant conflict, that is something that this person could be wanting to put an end to. That is something that you could be acknowledging as well. And possibly acknowledging the patterns as you're disconnecting or withdrawn, because you're starting to see things from a different perspective here. Okay? So that is what I'm getting for you guys this week. I really do hope you were able to find a message that resonated with you here today. And thank you so much for your time.